damage was nerfed, right? So she wasn't able to like 1v1 a soldier in his face and just completely slaughter him, but...
well, she was always asking to get nerfed, Jason, so...
well, maybe she'd be nerfed a little bit more for me. I don't know, D.Va's always a frustration for me. But either way, we're in on to Hollywood here in just a few seconds, ZP. This map's going to be the first map in our 4-map set. And just to remind you guys at home and how that's going to work, it's not a best of 4. It depends on the series, and map scores will come into effect later on if we do need to see some tiebreakers happen. So very important, even if you already won 3 maps, to close it out and win that 4th.
Absolutely. It means that even if you are down 3 maps, you still have something to play for at the very end because you don't know how the stats will break down when we get to the end of our group stages next week.
Well, one thing that I know Esporati talked about to us when we had a discussion with them was they've actually been struggling to find teams to scrim against. Teams haven't been taking them necessarily seriously, and we asked them, what does it mean to you to qualify, for Season 1 of Contenders? And they said just legitimacy for themselves as players, legitimacy for them as a team. And this is a chance to prove it. Expert is a really up-and-coming team, and I want to see someone like Esporati who strive themselves on the pride and their spirit that they have within their team to see them successful.
And you want to see them crush Team Expert's dreams, just as
just Vanessa's dreams, just Vanessa's, just his. And I go back a long time with this guy, like 3-4 years, so he knows it's all in good fun here. But here we go, ZP.
Well, we are getting started here, and it is going to be Team Expert on the offense. They will be running a dive offense supported by D.Va, and right now they're just feeling out the situation, taking a look at the Esporati defense, certainly sizing up the Torbjorn turret, seeing that's in the cafe, and for now, they are taking their moment as Envision goes in, wins a Tracer battle, and now it's a 65 as Expert Jason has way more room to work with.
Well, Esporati, they're running a Sombra and a Torbjorn, and they're running a Reinhardt as a solo tank, so trying to use that shield to be something to sit behind. Did's finally able to respond, though, with a big kill to Vayne to at least equalize things. But the thing is, the point's being captured. It's 2/3 of the way through, and Core is just going to be a little bit too late to actually get on top of the point. It's going to force the backline, the squishy members, to just fall.
And now Team Expert will fully secure things out here. They take down everyone in the cafe. No more lattes for Esporati, and no more point A, Jason. Always upsetting when your coffee break gets interrupted like that.
Yeah, I don't know if I was actually a fan of the comp they were running. Like, the Torbjorn's not necessarily a bad pick. We've seen a lot of teams pair that with like an Orisa, right? You put the shield down, the turret's really hard to actually get away from. And of course, if you do want to get in close and personal with it, which you're going to have to, you're going to have Orisa there who can do a hell of a lot of damage. But switching things up, we see the Genji here now picked up for them, switching Gustav over to Zenyatta as well, who did use the EMP in the last fight, so not really losing out too much. But it also means he's not going to have his Transcendence, and he's not going to be able to stop Cranks, who's going to have his Dragon Blade soon.
You're not going to have that support counter play in progress here for Esporati, but they get the better of Vaneless here early on, and what that means is that maybe they get a chance to reestablish here, Jason, where it can be rough after losing Pune. Regardless, here come the flankers, and the ultimates hit Pater. Both Krunks and Envision going off. That is 4 kills for Krunks early on here. Wow.
Not sure why Vaneless is actually playing Soldier. I just realized, look, the kill feed. Oh, Soldier died. Okay, yeah, not a big deal. And then I look, and it's actually Vaneless, the support player for the team, trying to use that. So maybe trying to get that early high ground presence, that early high ground control with him on the Soldier, then using that momentum off the first point capture to trail it through in the second, so eventually he can switch back to Ana. In the meantime, we do see Dids. He has his visor ready to go. So he'll be looking to get in a position, obviously, to use this. But the D.Va out of next, the flex player for Team Expert, is going to be a real pain.
It will certainly be a pain, and this is where Dids has to find the right positioning, then move over and make this fight work. But he's already under heavy pressure, down to half HP. He's in no position to drop the visor here just yet. Has to back up and get healed, and no, he is chased right down. That is going to be Decon taking him out of the fight and creating necessary space here for Team Expert as, Jason, they are rolling with reckless abandon right now.
Yeah, Esporati is just not able to put up a good defense here at all, and, it's unfortunate for Dids. He obviously would have used the visor there, but if you're 0-7, the Tracer player for Esporati, you need to get that D-suit onto next to allow this one to be effective. In the meantime, they're just trying to stall for a couple extra seconds. There's no real chance that Esporati is going to hold this point, but Expert doing what their name implies, being experts on this map currently. 5 minutes left to go to capture this 3rd point.
And I think the painful thing though is that Esporati didn't really get a whole lot for that delay. The time they gained was minimal, and the ult they gave to Team Expert significant as Cranks moving in, picking up 2, and they're going to be somewhat loaded for the next fight. Sure, Esporati will have options here, but they've just been really struggling to open up fights on even terms here, Jason.
And this is something we're going to be looking at, ZP, that we've seen a lot of teams, and actually Team Expert struggle with. If you're going to visor or nano someone, if you're going to nano Cranks here, you got to have a bio grenade ready for Gustav. You have to have something ready for this trance that's coming through. And I want to see if they fix this communication. The Blade's not going to be coming out. They're not trying to use their ultimates just yet, but it forces Esporati to throw quite a few.
Yeah, the ultimates are coming out here from Esporati, and they do convert. It's not a total loss, but the problem is that Expert is so close to their spawn here, they can just back out, and they even find Dids, which means that you're going to have a moment here where, sure, they lost some people, but they're going to be able to come back in as 6 and challenge Esporati right away.
Not sure why Gustav actually was the one to use the trance, the support ultimate, when he could have maybe had almost Panda use the sound barrier to engage the fight. Now you've used the trance, so your chance of like stopping this blade of happening is gonna be really difficult. Obviously, the bio grenade's not gonna affect you too much when you have the sound barrier with the extra HP, but if they can bait this out, if they can just, you know, get Cranks in position to use one with the blade and the nano, you're still gonna shred through all the extra health.
Well, certainly, and that's all good for Cranks here because he is ready to get that nano boost. Now the sound barrier comes out, but Cranks pulls out the blade anyways. The nano boost is in, and here comes the nano blade. He is looking to the back, finds Tids and gets more. Dash resets Ahoy here for Cranks as Team Expert opens up the way, and this payload is cruising towards the end here in favor of Team Expert.
But Venus, he actually hit a great sleep dart onto Strom there in the middle of that fight, which allowed Cranks to have that extra freedom. He cancels out enemy ultimate with his own on Dids, who's playing the soldier. In the meantime, the pulse one to come through, he's gonna get Gustav away. The payload needs to be contested. Someone finally touch it. It's gonna be Strom to be able to come in here, but the kills are stolen all the way here of Expert.
And this is Esporati gasping for life here at the very end, just desperately trying the delay, and everyone knows what happens here. You throw your bodies on set point for a good cause, try and eke out the last few seconds, but that delay is not gonna be too much at all as Team Expert, a dominant time being set here. 3 minutes and 10 seconds left remaining, Jason.
So, Dids got his first visor off in the second to last fight of that map. And it's obviously really unfortunate if you're trying to use a visor, you try to use it to its utmost efficiency, right? You want to be able to use it, pick up quite a few kills. The problem was, he uses it there, he gets to do something to next, good for him, but his whole team gets wiped. And he didn't really have the opportunity to use it earlier on when he was on top of jail. He got pushed off and he kept losing members one by one. But at some point, you just have to force something. You have to maybe force the ultimate out of Expert, support ultimate, which they were stood on for quite a long time.
I think Dids was being a little bit careful with it, and I mean, you saw that on second where he did have the tac visor up, but he didn't even really attempt to use it, and then by the time maybe he could have used it, guess what? He had the tanks of Team Expert right in his face, hunting him down, and he didn't even get a chance to be the hero for second. Expert moves in, rolls the payload right in, and keeps it moving forward, so it was definitely difficult for Esporati. It just felt in general that they were staggered and disheveled for most of the map.
Yeah, very true. And I look at their switching compositions here as they're going on the attack here, and it Dids will be on the Diva. It looks like Strong going to be sticking to the Genji. So they have the standard like 2-2-2 composition, and Expert's going to be investing into Venus on the Ana. So they're actually not going to be using a Zenyatta here. They didn't use it at all, I believe, on the initial defense, or sorry, initial attack. And it seems like they're playing very confident with this, with Venus on the Ana.
They're going a little bit more old school. We haven't seen a lot more Zen in recent times, but teams from time to time will go back to the old basics of Ana Lucio. So Expert, I guess, going with what they're comfortable with here, and there will be no shenanigans, no Torbjorn in the cafe this time, Jason.
Yeah, I would hope not, honestly, because these matches mean a lot, especially for Expert too, who was already able to pull off the 2-2 tie against United, then 3-1 against Bazooka Puppies, and if they pick up this win, they're looking very good into the next week. But I mean, to me, if they're not using the Discord, they're not using Zenyatta, it kind of says that they're really confident in Cranks and Vision, Nex, and Decod to really hit the same target at the same time and blow them up without the extra need of that. And then you have the extra confidence and the extra reliability of having that nano blade to just solidify a kill, or solidify a fight.
It's a case where they don't feel like they have to rely on Discord Orb to finish off kills, but Esporati, they're not wasting any time, Jason. They are immediately looking to reclaim the cafe. They want their coffee, and I don't think they are going to get it. It's going to be Sauron going down immediately here. 2 kills here from Team Expert, and they successfully defend the cafe, and drinks are on them.
Worst coffee shop I've ever seen in my life here. I mean, they rushed in, right? The problem is when you rush in like that, you're not getting the healing from your Lucio, you're not getting the healing from Zenyatta because he doesn't have the line of sight. Not to mention the Discords. Like, you pushing into that cafe means you're going to lose a fight if the enemy team responds to you correctly, which with an Ana, the bio grenade, the splash damage you can do, it completely counters any sort of dive like that.
Team Expert, even though they're a little bit spread on their defense, as soon as they went into the cafe, everyone converged and made that a rough line indeed. And now Esporati being a little bit more cautious on this next engage. They don't immediately rush back in. You see their Tracer going to the back line, looking to be distraction from the back, as the rest of their team comes in here through the front. But Team Expert, they're not looking too bad here. They do lose in vision, but the rest of them very healthy, and they have the sound barrier that helps support on this fight, which is going to aid them heavily in pushing Esporati out.
Well, the barrier catches